The Mondraker Crafty R Plus is the top plus bike in our Trail Bike of the Year this year. It's based around Mondraker's much emulated forward geometry, which gives a nice and long front end with a short stem for extra high speed stability without the compromise of a bike that wallows when going up the hills. Traditionalists may not like the idea of these plus size tyres, but if you're looking for something that rolls incredibly fast and soaks up all the little hits so you can just concentrate on the big picture of where you're going, then the plus wheels really do sort of aid this bike to be one of the faster bikes in Trail Bike of the Year, even if it feels a little bit vague at times. The Maxxis Chronicle tyres are 3-inch wide and they're mounted to Mondraker's in-house 40mm internally wide rims. The Chronicles don't have the most aggressive treads, so in the slop they don't work particularly well, but on the fast, rocky, dry terrain of Pay, they absolutely ripped. Where Mondraker sometimes struggle is with the specking on their bike. So for example, the Crafty R Plus doesn't have a dropper post, which is, I believe, the only bike in Trail Bike of the Year without one this year. And they also don't have a full SRAM 11-speed group set. Instead, they've got a 10-speed GX group with an expander cog. It's not a bad system, but it's not quite as crisp and clean as a full SRAM or Shimano setup might have been. The other area of compromise is the SRAM DB3 brakes. They're not the Guide, they're not an XT or an SLX, and they don't feel quite as refined. That said, there is still plenty of power there anyway, so you will come to a halt. But it's perhaps just indicative of the fact that Mondraker have had to spend their money perhaps on the tyres and the fork, which is the excellent RockShox Yari, instead of other areas of componentry such as the dropper or the brakes. Joining the Yari, we've got a Monarch Plus RC3 shock, which gives plenty of control to that back end. Front and back, we've got boost spacing, and it's actually one of the few bikes in Trail Bike of the Year with the 110mm wide fork dropouts and the 148mm dropouts at the back. This gives the wheel extra stiffness, which is perhaps lacking from the bigger tyres. What this means is that you get a little bit more feedback through the wheels of what's going on under the tyre, which might have been lost if you had a slightly more flexible wheel. Being a Mondraker, we've got their in-house bar and stem, 760mm wide for the bar, which isn't super wide, but again isn't too narrow, and then their 30mm stem, which is an integral part of this forward geometry. So I'm going to pass over to Guy Kestevan, who's going to tell you a little bit more about how the bike rides.
There's no doubt plus tyres are a controversial subject still. The most recent testing we've done on them suggests they are really fast in the great majority of situations. However, there's a definite dislocation in the field between the bike and trail that not everyone is comfortable with. There are also questions about tyre durability, especially in terrain like Pay. You know, some brands of tyres seem to burst very quickly, and while we've had no particular problem with the Maxxis set here, there's a very fine line between tyre pressure that works, tyre pressure that bounces you all over the place like a space hopper, and what kind of tread profile you've got. While there is doubt over plus tyre sizing, and whether it's going to be the future or whether it's a fad that's not going to last, what we do know is the best bike we've ridden so far for making the most of it is Mondraker's Crafty. The forward geometry, handling, puts that front wheel out a long way in front for the extra stability. But it's not a super slack head angle, so you're not having to really rip the tyre off the contact patch in a way that can make some plus bikes feel absolutely wretched through the bars. That super short stem and the wide bar give you plenty of leverage, and it doesn't feel that out of the ordinary in corners, which is rare for a plus bike. Suspension at the rear end is perfectly sorted. It's a system that Mondraker have been using for a while. You do have to play with the rebound a bit more just to cope with the fact you've got 3 inches of completely unfettered bounce slapping about off rocks at certain times, and we've lost a lot of paint off the chainstay of the Mondraker, so you probably want to get a neoprene sleeve on there to save that. RockShox Yari is a new fork this year, absolutely fantastic, and we're just delighted to see it on a lot of mid-range bikes. It's a fork you're just not going to have issues with, especially in this stiffer booster platform with the longer negative spring, just keeping that really bouncy front tyre more planted on the ground than we felt from a lot of other forks. Whether you go for plus sizes or not, the Mondraker range is looking great in terms of spec as well this year. Spec's great, wheels are good. The bike's an absolute pinner if you do want to experiment with plus sizes.
It might be quite a brave consumer who goes and buys the Mondraker Crafty R Plus then, but those who do will be rewarded with a bike that is incredibly fast along a wide range of different terrains. There's still a lot of developments to come in the world of plus tyres, but we think it's a standard which is worth looking out for and worth considering when you're looking for your next trail bike. So we're covering 12 of our favourite Trail Bike of the Year bikes in this video series, but if you really want to know what the winner is straight away, then you can go and purchase What Mountain Bike issue 186. It's on sale now, and you can find links for Android and iOS in the description below.